Hello and welcome back to another Tote stable tour. We've got a special one today. We're in County Kildare to see Barry Connell. We'll get the latest on champion chaser Marine Nationale after his run at Leopardstown and find out what else Barry will be sending to the festival. And we'll get the word on the injured William Munny and what the plan will be with him for the rest of the season. If you are enjoying Tote stable tours, be sure to leave a like, comment down below who else you wanted to go and see, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. So have you always trained here?
Yeah, we built this place. It was completely, there was no buildings on it, it was just farmland. The local farmers, it was owned by a German guy, he used it as a holiday home, and the local farmers put cattle on it. So the good thing is there's never been a horse on it. And we're on the same vein of land as Kildare Stud, which is about 2 miles away as the crow flies. So it's very good land, and we were lucky to, because these parcels of land don't come up that often. It's nice, 45 acres. It's a nice neat size. So we drew it all from a blank canvas piece of paper, created the courtyard and the outdoor stables and everything else, you know.
Brilliant. How many horses have you got here now?
We have usually about 16 riding out. There's young horses coming through. Some of them are on a winter break. So yeah.
And you own all the horses yourself? And
no, I don't. No. We have a number of hi Brian. We have a number of couple of outside owners, but they have to buy into our philosophy, which is just giving the horses as much time as they need. You know, nearly all the horses we buy are unbroken, so we buy them as 3-year-olds, and a lot of them won't run till they're 5. William Munny didn't run till he was 6, because they're still growing and developing until they're 6.
Yeah.
This horse here was in training with Willie Mullins last year. Ksar Fatal, he won a bumper in Goran Park on heavy ground, and I think he was fancied for the champion bumper, and they ran him a Punchestown instead. The ground was too quick and he pulled up, but he's ready to run. He runs in Punchestown in, I think it's 2 weeks time. You know, we like him. I think he could be an interesting horse for.
Will he run in a bumper or hurdles?
No, he won't run a bumper. He'll run the maiden hurdle. He's run 2 bumpers already. We never run them more than 2 bumpers. So he is. Look, I think he's a horse that he's going to be a staying horse. Once softish ground. He won't be travelling to Cheltenham this year, but we'll be looking Fairy House, Punchestown, and chasing will be his job next year. You know, I think we'll be hoping he'll make up into a nice graded horse next year.
Excellent. It's a handsome looking horse.
He's by Bucks Boom, who's a very good stallion. How
is your sort of spring squad looking for the big festivals?
Yeah, the spring squad is looking good. And part of the reason is the tracks were so dry during the summer that we had to stop running horses because they were getting jarred up and they were getting it was getting dangerous. The tracks weren't putting enough water out. So what we did was we give a lot of them a break, and we said we'd put them away and have an extended spring campaign. And if the same thing happens again this year, you know, we'll be doing the same. There's a couple of tracks in the west of Ireland, like Galway, Ballinrobe, where they always do a good job, but the rest of the tracks were hit and miss this year. So we've probably 6 or 7 of the summer horses that are due to come back. They're back riding out now, and they should be ready in 6 weeks or so.
Is there certain tracks that you like introducing horses at?
Well, this time of year, I mean, you're looking at most of the bumpers, maiden hurdles would be at the big tracks, would be at Naas, Navan, Punchestown, Fairyhouse. That's usually where you'll start off. Marine came out of his race great, het up. I went in and walked the track yesterday morning, and it didn't walk too bad, but Sean said it rode very heavy. And the first part of the race where they were going very hard, they were doing 34, 35 miles an hour. His wheels were spinning. He just got stuck in the ground, and it was only when they slowed it down to 28, 29 with about a mile to go that he started to get into a rhythm. And to be fair to him, he finished his race out really well. Like the winner, the two horses in the race that had heavy ground form, the winner and Found a 50 ran really well, whereas the two good ground horses, ourselves and Solness, just didn't suit them. Now, I wanted to support the race, that's why I ran him. And I said, look, we'll try it once and see what happens. He'd won on soft ground, it was spring soft ground, which is different. Just heavy ground is not his, it blunts his speed. He's a speed horse. So look, he's come out of the race great. A few little nicks, but nothing major.
Has it sort of had any impact on your thoughts ahead of Cheltenham after yesterday?
How do you mean?
Well, I guess it'll be more spring round at Cheltenham.
Decide not to run in there? Is that what you mean?
No.
No, he goes there. I'm sure you know what he does when he gets to Cheltenham. He's been there twice. He comes alive. He's a different horse in Cheltenham.
Were you surprised about the performance of the winner? His first on cheap pieces.
His jump index was 9.4, which is off the charts. I don't know with the racing IQ data whether any horse has done any better than that this year. Normally anything in the eights is good. He was 9.5. I think he 16 lengths, but he got a uncontested lead and got into a lovely rhythm and jumped really well. So all credit to the winner. He did it. You know, he was foot perfect. But our guy it took him. He was never in a rhythm the first part of the race. It took him a while to jump off, and by the time we jumped off, the winner had got 6-7 lengths and he was gone. And if you look at the speed, they were doing 34, 35 miles an hour until they straightened up to go down the back straight. And as I say, Sean said it just rode really heavy on him. So we will be not doing that again, and looking for. Don't issue. We're looking forward to the spring with them now. So he'll have a nice week or 10 days off. So he will, and he'll be back to his best in Cheltenham.
And as you say, he showed plenty of battle up the home straight.
He does, and he's his head down and battled away. And Sean wasn't hard on him. He gave him one flick behind the saddle, you know. So look, it was obviously disappointing. But I never thought we would be running the horse on heavy ground, but the way the Dublin Racing Festival has gone, it's a big race in its own right, and in the past all those races were stepping stones to go to Cheltenham, and the easy thing to do would have been not to run him. He's not a hard horse to get fit, so I could easily have not run him and just had a racecourse gallop or something like that instead. But look at there's no harm done. He's come out of the race great, and there isn't a mark on him. He's sound, so happy days, you know.
How much do you like this horse, Barry? How much do you like him? He's like a pet, isn't he?
He's unreal. He's unreal. Like, I'll never have anything like him again. Hopefully we'll have Grade 1 horses again. We'll never have anything like him. You know, he needs his conditions in his favour. He needs nice ground. Not he'll go on soft ground. He's won a Supreme and he's won a Royal Bond on soft ground. But look, I think he's one of only 6 horses that have, in the last 20 years, that have won the double, the Cheltenham Champion Chase and the Punchestown Champion Chase, and they're both on good ground. So,
when you invited us down last year, you said he was the best 2-mile chaser in Ireland. Obviously, he's shown that at Cheltenham.
Yeah.
But it was some performance at Cheltenham last year as well.
Listen, he was the easiest winner of the week. He won by 16, 18 lengths, and you know, people were talking about Quilixius, but he had Quilixius beaten going down the hill, and he just wanted to lead going down to the last, and that was it. And then he scooted up the hill, and the same in Punchestown. He never come off the bridle, so he went out on grass like a fresh horse because he hadn't emptied the tank last year, you know, and he's all the experience in the world. And you know, you're going to get days where things don't work out, and it's partially my fault for running them on heavy ground. But there's no harm done. You can see he's in good form this morning, so we'll leave him to.
Do you think, Barry, if he gets his conditions, he's the one to beat in the Champion Chase then?
Yeah, well, look, I'd say on the day, Madras gone favourite now. I'd say on the day there probably won't be much in the price between us. Like, everything is, assuming we don't get a monsoon in March, everything is going to be in our favour. Of course, and distance winner. The jumping around Punchestown is different to a flat galloping track like Leopardstown or Newbury or whatever. If a horse gets a lead in front, you know, it's a lot easier to get into a rhythm, whereas in Cheltenham the fences are coming at you on the turn. They're up and down, they're more undulating, so he has all that experience. So yeah, we'll be back to our best, and hopefully we'll get a good result. If you leave your hand in there long enough, I'll give you a nip. We'll go up to the barn here. I'll show you William Munny. You couldn't make up what happened to him. Like, the Champion Hurdle is so open this year, and I decided at an early stage that we'd keep him hurling this year before we brought him in, and that was before nearly all the Champion Hurdle horses blew themselves up. I mean, the new line doesn't look like a 2-miler. I mean, he looks more like a Stayers Hurdle horse. What else is there? I don't know. Is Constitution Hill going to come back? He might. But look, it's more open than it has been for a long time. We were second in the Supreme last year, and we had to give him a third run about 3 weeks before Cheltenham, and when he got there he was very light, and I was amazed how well he ran. We were nearly not going to run him, and the race has worked out really well in terms of, if you look at the number of Grade 1 winners that have come out of the race, it's actually worked out better than the turners. I couldn't understand why people were raving about the new line. Like, he beat the Yellow Clay a length and a half. So anyway, everything was going 100%, and we just pulled him out one day about 6 weeks ago, and he was lame as a duck behind, and he was so lame I thought he'd broken a pelvis or he'd done some kind of major injury to himself. So we did all the scans, all the x-rays, and there's nothing structural. So what he had effectively done was he had torn a muscle in his hindquarters. he was living out in one of the pens there that we just seen. He could have done it rolling. I don't know how he did it. So he had to stand in for 6 weeks. So when you miss 6 weeks this time of the season, that's lights out. You know, like you're not going to make Cheltenham. What we're hoping is now, he's not back under saddle yet, but he's back on the walker. We're hoping to get him back. For Punchestown. You know, if we can get a saddle on him towards the end of the month, and get a run into him. Morning, Maria. How are you going? If we can get a saddle on him there and get a run into him, at least if we get one run in open company into him before the summer. This is him here. I don't think you've seen this barn before.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so we have the courtyard and we have the outdoor stables, and then we have this little 8 barn. And it's we use it. It's very quiet up here. There's not a lot of activity, so we use it for mainly as horses that are recuperating from a bit of an injury, or there's other horses here who just like peace and quiet, you know. So he's only, like a lot of ours, there's very low mileage on the clock. He's only had 6 runs or something like that. But he's a serious talent, like, it's a terrible shame that we weren't able to take advantage of the weakness of the Champion Hurdle this year. But as I say, he'd be still a young horse and with very little mileage on him for next year.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking forward to that.
Would you keep him over hurdles next year as well?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
How does he sort of compare to Marine Nationale?
He works with them. He's worked with them, and he's able to hold his own with them. You know, there wouldn't be too much between them. But we thought with our little stable here, with 16 riding out, we'd be going with the favourite for the Champion Chase and one of the favourites for the Champion Hurdle. It was too good to be true, and it didn't happen. But look, he's with what's happened to him, that will resolve itself 100%. It's just a bad muscle tear. You can see it on the scanner. So that's him. I want to show you this horse here as well. This is each their own. He's going for the Supreme.
Yeah, he's an impressive winner last time.
Yeah, we were going to supplement him for the Grade 1 on yesterday, on Sunday. But when the ground came up heavy, so we didn't want him getting a hard race. He was second in 2 bumpers last year. There were 2 good bumpers now, but he's not really a bumper horse, and he won his maiden hurdle in Galway in October. Nobody was going to go on. He had to make all his own running. And then we entered him for the Royal Bond, and I thought he wouldn't come off the bridle in the Royal Bond. He shows us a lot of pace at home, and he's a very good jumper. But we had around the end of October through to November, we had a few of our horses weren't running well. Like it's been 16 degrees and wet for most of the autumn, and like most of the yards in the country have had a period where the horses haven't been running well. So we actually ran 3 horses that day, and all 3 of them ran poorly. He was beaten 25 lengths that day, so we said we may as well get a handicap mark. We got a mark of 124. I ran him in a handicap in Thurles about 10 days ago. We popped him out in front, and he absolutely bolted up. The handicapper gave him 13, so he's a 130. He's a 137 now. So look, he's going to go there as an outsider because he hasn't, he's been beaten in a Grade 1. And he again had to make his own running that day. But I think this horse, if in a proper Grade 1 race, if he's able to settle off a good pace, second or third off a good pace, I think we'll see another big rate of improvement from him again. And it wouldn't surprise me if he was thereabouts jumping the last, and would be hoping he'd be a horse that could run into the money over there. As I say, we never bring horses over there unless we think they have a genuine chance of being, in the first 3 or 4, because otherwise there's plenty of other targets here. So that's him, and he'll be just on a little mini break now since his race in Thurles. But he'll be going fences next year. Jumps brilliant. There's one of Pat Healy's pictures here. Shows him jumping the last hurl, and it looks like. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah.
Seems to go perfection, that.
Huh?
Perfection.
Looks like he's jumping the fence there.
Yeah.
He's owned by, in partnership with a chap called Tim O'Driscoll and myself. So, as I say, we were going to supplement him, and we just decided with that rotten ground, there's no point giving him a hard race. Like all the horses in the 2 mile race yesterday, it was a slog, and I'd say, we're happy we didn't go down that route. Bring him there fresh. He said a run the maiden hurl, a run the Grade 1, and a run the handicap, which I think is an amazing amount of experience to bring to Cheltenham. There's very few horses going for the Supreme now that have run the handicap. So so it'll be him and Marine Nationale, and we might make an entry for where's he gone? Where's Granka and Maria? He's a horse we liked a lot last year. He won season before last. He won the Novice Handicap Chase at Punchestown. He beat Percival of Galway 3 lengths. I think it was 10 lengths back to the rest of them, and we couldn't get him right all last season for whatever reason. I don't know why. Just never looked well. So we left him off, and he's come back now, and he was beating the nose in a handicap in Leopardstown at Christmas over hurls. We've dropped him back. He had a 140 rating, I think, over fences, but he was only rated 122 over hurls, 123. So we just got chinned on the line at Christmas, and he went up £5 for that, and then we ran him back. We ran him back again, and he in Navan, and he finished second again in a big 40 grand race. So what I might do is make an entry for him for one of the handicaps, and we might go back chasing with him in Cheltenham. He's a quality horse. But we'll see. Just see what kind of mark he gets, and what the state of play is. We're definitely going to bring the other 2, each to their own, and Marine, and this guy's the only other possibility.
What kind of trip does he want for dinner handicap?
2.5, 2.6. I'd say the plate.
Yeah.
The plate. That's probably not a slow horse, but he the day he won at Punchestown, I thought we'd be going for the Ryanair the following year, and just one horse we couldn't get right, and we couldn't get to the bottom of it. Whether it was something internal going on with him, I don't know. So that was.
Has he had enough runs to qualify to win the handicap at Cheltenham? They changed it now,
no, he's run enough times. Yeah. You have to have run 4 times to run over fences and 5 times in hurls. They tweaked that, which is making it harder. for the unexposed novices to parachute themselves into being unexposed. Like 3 or 4 years ago, you could drop into the Martin Pipe or the Coral Cup as a novice with 3 runs and be totally unexposed. Straight man, Ksar Fatal, Galloping de Champ, all of them. So it's actually quite hard to get 5 runs into a horse. I think that's why Willie ran 10 of them or 11 of them in the Triumph last year. Yeah. It's a schooling race. It gives them it's 1 run got, and it gives them an opportunity to they only have to 4 runs the following year. This is him here. He's been unlucky. When you get beat a nose and you get 6 pounds or 6 or 7 pounds, and the next day he's just chinned on the line as well. But he's in good form. If he doesn't go to Cheltenham, there's a nice race from there. I think the Sunday before Cheltenham in Naas, over hurls. But we'll be going back over fences. If not at Cheltenham, we'll be going back over fences next year. We've a nice crop of unraced 5-year-olds now. We've been doing a lot of work with them over the last 2 or 3 years. So they're just ready to start running bumpers. There's a schooling day in Ferryhouse on next week, and we'd be hoping to run a few of them in that, and have we've run very little over in bumpers this year. As I said, we were a bit under a cloud in November, so we just left the young horses alone. So we'd be looking to hopefully have 3 or 4 of those hitting the track for Ferryhouse time, Punchestown time. They're nice horses, and then we'll have them for Novice Hurdles next year. And then we have a good squad for the spring. Avondale, Netboy, Apples of Brazil. Those type of horses coming back for a bit of nicer ground, after Cheltenham.
So when you say with the 5-year-olds, how long would you have had them since?
3.
3-year-olds, yeah. 3,
yeah. I mean, it'd be rare they'd run in the autumn of their 4-year-old career. They normally don't run till the spring of their 5-year-old career, which is it's about a year and a half longer than most people. But so, as I said, William Munny didn't run till he was 6, and he wouldn't have been ready to run till he was 6, because he showed us as a 4-year-old, he showed us plenty of ability. But then you might go back 2 weeks later and work him, and he wouldn't work well. I take a blood test, he's fine. The only thing is he was just going through a growth spurt, and he was just getting weak.
Yeah.
So all he wanted was a break. So we had to do that 3 or 4 times, and eventually he came right and was ready to kick on and go. And Marine we had him 2 years before we ran him. Same thing as well. Because we're mainly doing our own thing, that's what we do. And we don't buy that many every year. We might only buy 4 or 5 stores every year. So, we can't afford for them not to work out. So we just wait for the horse and let the horse come to us.
Is there any of them unraced ones that are showing any promise at home so far?
We haven't put the gun to their head. We've been doing a lot of prep work and doing jumping, just going around our own gallop. We've taken them away for a few away days. We're going to do a bit this week now with them and just see how they are, what the pecking order is, and then that schooling race in Ferryhouse the following week will tell us. We'd probably run them over hurls to start off with, and then it's a bit easier on them when they're younger if you run them over hurls, because it's slightly slower tempo. They're not flat to the boards the whole way, and you can drop them back into a bumper then.
Is there much appetite for you to sort of up the numbers?
No.
Oh. You're happy with how many you've got?
Absolutely, yeah. No, we've 3 top-class riders here. There's only 3 or 4 in a lot, and we really don't want to expand too much here. Like, we have a couple of outside owners, and if people are happy to go along with the schedule we have here in terms of giving them all the time they need, you know, it's kind of tough. But you're paying decent money for a horse at the Land Rover sale or the Derby sale, and you're paying training fees, and you're not going to see your horse run for 2 years. But in reality, that's, if you want to get a career out of the horses, that's really what you need to do, because they don't mature till they're 5 or 6. Like, we have Enniskerry there, rode out in the last lot. We had him as a 3-year-old, and he's won a big race every year. He didn't run till he was 5, and he's run a big race every year. He's 12 now, and he's invaluable, you know, as a lead horse, and he'll probably win a couple of contests again this year. But that's what we're trying to do, is create careers for the horses and not take shortcuts, you know, and try and win a 4-year-old bumper, run them 5 times in a 4-year-old bumper, and then you have no horse 18 months later because they're physically and mentally wrecked.
All the horses seem so relaxed here.
Yeah,
Like pet animals.
That's the plan. Like, it sounds simple, but if you can take the stress out of their lives, then they'll eat well, and if they eat well, you can train them. It's like any athletes, whether it's rugby or whatever else it is, you need to get the calories into them, because we have to work these guys hard. If they're going to run in the winter, in heavy conditions, jumping obstacles, you know, they need to be happy in themselves, stress-free, and we've a very good team of vets. So if there is a little issue, if they're getting a little bit sore in their back or some other part, we'll find out pretty early, because our riders are really good, and they will give us an indication that something small might be brewing, which maybe a less experienced rider might miss, and that's crucial as well. So we can identify that issue, we can give them a little break, give them whatever treatment they need, and then get them right again. But they, you know, we don't run them until they're ready to go. And it's, look, the peace and quiet is a very big part of it as well. You know, the more relaxed they are, the better they'll be.